Is there any further open business? Report.
Michelle Plummer, 13259 Argyle. My daughter was involved in a car accident within the city of Taylor. When I arrived on the scene, I spoke with the officer. He stated that they had contacted area towing to remove the vehicle from the scene. I asked if I had to use area towing or could I request another tow company. His response was that area towing arrived on the scene before the tow company I contacted. I would be expected to pay both tow companies for the arriving on the scene. So we decided to wait for area towing. Once area towing arrived on the scene, I explained to the driver that I had tow coverage and asked if they could tow the vehicle to my home. The driver informed me that I would need to contact the main office and they would make that decision. At that time, I contacted area towing's main office and was told they would be able to tow the vehicle to my home and quoted me a price of $285. This price included $8 a mile fee because we lived out of city limits. I agreed to this price. Area towing then contacted the driver while my husband was standing next to him and instructed the driver to tow the vehicle to our home. We then went home to wait for the vehicle. After waiting over an hour and a half for the vehicle to arrive, I contacted area towing only to find out they towed the vehicle to their tow yard. At that time, my husband and I went to area towing to get the vehicle and were told we would have to pay $450, which included after hours and storage fees. They would not release the vehicle until it was paid. I explained to the worker that the vehicle was supposed to be towed to my home, but he did not care. They would not release the vehicle until the fee was paid. At that time, we had no choice but to pay the $450. We then contacted Lions Towing and had to pay another $150 to get the vehicle from area towing to our home. Now, the next day, I contacted area towing. He admitted he agreed to tow the vehicle to my home. Still would not refund any of the costs. I then had to dispute the claim with my credit card company. I have documentation where area towing had agreed with my credit card company that they were supposed to tow the vehicle. However, he still would not remove the fees. I won with my credit card company, only to be sued by area towing for those costs. I'm still going through the legal fees. My question is, my thing is, when you do your RFQ or RFP, look at the prices, but also look how the integrity of the company, how reputable they are. I should have been home with my daughter that night. She could have had a concussion. Instead, I was at the tow yard trying to get her vehicle out. Had I kept it there another night, I would have been charged more fees. This is ridiculous, what is going on. And the fact that you guys put into motion another 6 months for more people to be ripped off is infuriating. I've had to take time off court, where the dates have been moved countless times. And actually, the last one was February 2nd when my husband was in the hospital and I wasn't able to attend and I lost. So now I have to file an appeal. So these are the things that the parents and the people of your community are dealing with because of area towing. And I want you to all be aware. And I also contacted Tim Woolley about this. It took me 7 calls to get a return call back where I was blown up. So
I'm going to ask you to wrap up your comments.
I just, when you are considering, and I know Angie Winton, I will be happy to give you this documentation for when you guys are reviewing your next contract.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you.
I'd just like to ask a quick question. When did you call my office and we didn't speak?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. I contacted you. It took me a week and a half to get a hold of you after the accident. I called multiple times. I also had to fight with the city to get a copy of your Taylor Police law enforcement policies because the tow company stated that the slip on the scene that they give the tow company to remove the vehicle, if you look at that, there's nothing, it shows on that slip, it says to tow yard on it. So I had to pull the policy to see what your policy states, and nowhere in your policy does it state it has to go to the tow yard. So I think you have a couple loopholes and paperwork that need to catch up as well, because
Ma'am, hold on, Mr. Mayor, because we're getting a back and forth discussion. We've got a number of people that are waiting to speak. We've afforded 5 minutes to try more. As I'm going to be consistent with any council meeting, some additional comments, we recognize the second time, but I do want to make certain that we get to the individual secretary.
sure, thank you.
Please come forward.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Walter. My address is 26320 Circle. I am not a Taylor resident. However, all these cities kind of merge and overlap a little bit. So my daughter was on Eureka Road on September 28th, a different accident from her, 2022. She was hit by another driver, and, we got to the scene, took a lot of pictures. Area towing was already there, which I had no clue. It was my first accident. She was 19. So, I'm just taking pictures and whatnot for future things in case things go sideways, luckily. We thought everything was great, kind of trickling along. Last month, I got the same letter that you went and mentioned about, hey, we're copying you on this, but we send it to your insurance. It's a bill for just over $19,000. I got in January of 24 when the accident was in September of 22. I'm like panicking. I thought it was honestly a scam because the quality of the letter was pretty low. My last name was incorrect. My legal first name wasn't used. And I was like, okay, where is the payment being remitted to? Let me Google it. I was like, I don't want to get scammed. It's tax time. They're asking for a settlement. They're like, oh, you need your taxes and we'll call it even. The payment was supposed to be remitted to a UPS store mailbox. Doesn't sound very professional to me. So I started to dig into it a little bit more, saw some posts on social media. I was like, it's not just me. Okay, there's actually something going on here. So I went ahead and got the itemized statement from the company, and I'm like, okay, let's look at the dates. The first supervisor visit to the site, the intersection of Eureka and Pardee, we all know it's quite busy, was on June 9th of 2023. The accident was in September of 2022. I did a Freedom of Information Act and discovered that there were just under 35 accidents at that site between the date of my daughter's accident and the site visit by the supervisor. In addition to that, I had them send me the drone footage since I'm paying for it. The drone footage shows everything they're cleaning up at the southwest corner. I have the images from my daughter's accident. There was no travel where they're cleaning. There was no landing by any other vehicle involved in the accident where they're cleaning. Their timestamp on the picture says June 24th at like 2 in the morning. Understandable, cleaning a busy intersection. The remediation they determined needed done was completed June 25th according to their itemized statement. In addition to that, the bill itself, $19,000 and change, mind you. When I finally got a hold of them, they were like, oh, there's 2 parties involved. Let's go ahead and split it in half between the 2 parties, which is typical Michigan to no-fault state. I get it. I talked to the other person's insurance adjuster. They also got the same bill at their insurance for $19,000. Sounds a little sketchy, right? You want $19,000 from this insurance and $19,000 from this insurance, but all of a sudden you want to split it when someone questions you?
I would ask, again, that you wrap up,
I
because
will.
unfortunately, yours is not the first example, and it's sounding very familiar.
I get it. I just want to make it known. Yeah, I would like to know why wait 8.5 months to visit the site to determine remediation was needed. When I spoke to I also called Eagle, they said there's not necessarily a deadline for remediation, but I also emailed the company and asked what their deadline for remediation was, if necessary. They told me between short month, it's typical depending on Midwest